Everybody has been counting down the days for Saluki basketball to return, and the countdown has finally hit 0. Tomorrow morning, the Dogs tip it off against the Cougars here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Join you from the Saluki basketball meeting room here in Sioux Falls. The Coach Ronnie Watson. I am Luke Martin here with your Saluki radio preview. Coach Watson, it's no more just looking ahead at practices. Finally a game for Coach Scott Nagy and his group. They're excited to hit the floor. I know the Saluki Nation behind them are ready to see him play.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow, but, man, there's a lot going on in November. It doesn't stop until really the end of the month. So Southern's got to be ready to go early, and I think the first media timeout, believe it or not, is going to be a big factor in this game. Just getting through that first 4 minutes, get settled in, get yourself kind of established, and then it's going to be interesting to see the substitution rotation.
The other side of this is there's a lot of unknowns on both sides. Now, the Saluki perspective, not totally unknown to us because we've been able to cover them since June, but there's a lot of unknowns about this Cougar team and this Cougar program. Pat Kelsey's now gone. Coach Chris Mack comes in, very successful coach in his tenure, but this is a program that he takes over that's been used to winning in back-to-back NCAA tournaments.
They've been good for a while, and even though they just have a couple of guys returning, you know how that goes in the locker room. If they have a strong voice, everyone falls in line pretty quickly. They're made up of a different cast of characters with international players and a lot of Division I transfers, 8 to be specific about that, and it's going to be – their team's going to be interesting to watch just from that standpoint.
Now, the other factor is they got the preseason player of the year. Burcevic is back. They lose a lot of pieces. What are you most eager to see him play tomorrow? What's kind of a part of his game that you're excited to see, and what's going to be a challenge? I know you caught up with Coach Hawk, who had the scout for this game tomorrow.
Well, we know he can score. He's been scoring ever since he's been in college, and he scores at a really consistent, efficient pace. Also has a reputation for being a good passer. I'd much rather see him be a good passer than be a good scorer. But we'll see how he guards. We'll see if Southern can get him in some foul trouble because Southern can come at him with some big bodies. And he's going to have to decide just how well he wants and how hard he wants to play defensively and still stay in the game. You know, he's a guy that doesn't log a lot of minutes. He's in the 20s, not necessarily in the lower high 30s. So we'll see if that continues as well. Again, first game of the year. Coaches are trying to get themselves settled into some rotations. There's going to be a lot of people playing tomorrow that probably won't get quite as much time later on throughout the year, but you got to find out who can perform when the lights come up.
Elijah Jones may be a familiar name for those in the Carbondale area because he spent time at John A. Logan, part of their junior college championship team. He's transferred in from Green Bay, has done a lot of different things for his previous squad for the Phoenix. But one of the names that's going to be interested to see who will probably have a big part of this Cougar team is going to be Darian Boyd, a transfer from Lipscomb. He was their leading scorer last year.
How about this? Grew up in Princeton, Kentucky, right outside of Louisville. Went to Georgetown, NAIA school. Great, powerful NAIA. That's a powerhouse NAIA school. Went to Lipscomb, averaged 17 points, 210 pounds, big body, big shoulders. Probably a power guard type of player. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays.
Chris Mack, as you've known him as well for a long time, what are the characteristics of a Coach Mack team that you expect to see tomorrow?
I think they're going to play completely opposite than what Southern wants to play. I think it's going to be very possession controlled, run a lot of action. Southern's going to have to be on their P's and Q's, as we used to say, with their defensive end and stopping their stuff. I would say expect a lot of backdoor cut, trying to get your defense up high, play behind. I think it'll be a well-coached game on both sides. It's going to be a different style.
Again, tomorrow morning will be tip-off here from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, from the Sanford Pentagon. Our pregame coverage, get some coffee, donuts, whatever you need tomorrow morning. Be 10 a.m. for our Saluki radio coverage. We look forward to talking to you all tomorrow morning here from Sioux Falls. For the Coach Ronnie Watson, I am Luke Martin. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Saluki Nation, go Dogs.